The Australians over in lane 6. We should quickly back up to the start though for the B final of the men's pairs. That's a view of lane 2. Andre Sieber and Philipp Narun of Germany clearly ready to go. Sat at attention, everybody on the starting blocks. Very quick start there, especially by the South Africans on the near side. Getting their nose out in front early though, Joaquin Iwan and Rodrigo Murillo of Argentina just extending out to a canvas. That's the Argentinians in lane 4. Good view here though of the Hungarians, Adrian Juhas and Bella Simon Jr.
Yeah, we would have expected this from the Argentinians. They just missed out on a place in the A final, placing 4th in their semis, so certainly one of the front runners in this race, and definitely going out to make their mark. I mean, we saw the Germans pay for their fast start in the race before. Will that happen once again? Stroke
man Nicholas Stojic, the old man of Serbian rowing, I thought he rode a blinder in the Europeans. Well, actually really took the race on in the second quarter. They have blistering pace, and to my mind, they are the crew, probably my favourites to take this race.
Good shot there of the Argentinians, still out in front, but it's going to be a tough one to hold with Great Britain and Germany reeling them in. Good shot here of Oliver Cook and James Fode of Great Britain. They were gold medalists in the men's 8 at Eton Dorney 2 months ago.
Smacking it along, weren't they? Fode from Molesey Boat Club in the stroke seat, Ollie Cook in the bows. Really got the rating up there, and shot of the South Africans. Of course, South Africa come here, their top boat, the men's lightweight 4 Olympic champions, but they're building on this boat. New partner for Sean Keane with Lawrence Britton.
Yeah, they placed 4th in Lucerne, so certainly looking to be at the front end of the field here.
Good 500 metres there, 1:35 led by Serbia, but it's anybody's to choose again now as we see 3 boats vying for the lead.
I think this is going to be a really competitive race as well. I mean, it's close up at 500 metres, but this really matters for funding and for these guys to get in the team. You know, you saw with Hartmann and Sinning, they are the quickest German women's pair, and there's not that much motivation for them. But here, with these boats, say, take for example the Serbians, as funding resting on their 7th place, they want to establish their place for the next Olympiad against any competition, and the same for the British.
What's quite interesting here is that the Serbian pair is now moving up to take the lead. This is very similar profile to what we just saw in the women's race. This is where they moved ahead of the fast-starting Germans. We've seen the faster-starting Argentinians now dropping back, just like we saw in the German boat. But sitting up there as well are the British crew. High rating, 37 strokes a minute. Quite a bit higher, quite a bit more competitive than what we saw in the women's race. They're currently in 2nd, but it is the Serbians walking away at this point.
If the British finish 2nd in this race, that'll be like, you know, a result from heaven for them. I mean, that's going to be a tough call. I don't expect them to take 2nd place. I reckon somewhere around the middle, but certainly they've gone out with an intent. But the Serbians rowing like they did in the European Championships, Pete, really attacking, really aggressive in the second 500, and they can keep that high rating going, although the heat may be a question as to their energy sapping in the second half.
Absolutely, that's what you'd expect of the European champions. They're out nearly reaching clear water over the Brits. They're coming through the 1,000 metres, but Britain not letting them run away with it. Here comes South Africa though. I think that they've crawled back in the last 200 metres or so. They came 4th, just missing on the medal positions at the Lucerne World Cup last month.
Yes, I think we'd expect the South Africans to really start to wind it up in this third 5. They are a very good combination, and once again looking to build on this crew as they move through this Olympiad.
Yeah, Cookie, I was surprised at them in the semis because they were in a qualifying position. They went through in 3rd on the K in the semi-final, and they had a nightmare of a 3rd quarter, really, just where they needed to push on. As we're looking at the Argentine there, a whisker off the Spanish. I mean, 3 seconds off, but they were really, really competitive in the second half, unlike the South Africans, who will want to make a big difference.
Here's Great Britain, though, still managing to hold a solid 2nd over the South Africans. But if they're going to try to contend to move up on the Serbians, they're going to have to do it soon. But Serbians looking strong.
Yeah, it's an interesting little thing going on because Christian Felkel, who coached the British pair, also came from South Africa, so he worked with those guys, so he'll know all 4 athletes really, really well.
Yeah, that's got to make it so interesting looking out. He'll be cycling down the course at the moment, won't he? Watching all 4 of them.
Absolutely.
Great shot here of the Serbians. They don't look like they're struggling as much as I'd expect to. Quite a lot of looking around from the bowman, but that's so important, isn't it, when you get out in front, because you've got to react, especially in this third 500, to any sort of challenge from the rest of the field.
Yeah, we just had a great shot there of the Argentinians and the Brits. The Argentinians just fading after that blistering start that they had. But the Brits looking very strong, starting to move on Serbia now as they come through the 1500.
They are. They've got to overlap now. So 4:59 to the 1500 by Serbia. And Great Britain reducing the lead. They were 4 seconds behind at the 1000, down to 2.3 at the 1500. So starting to edge up on the Serbians.
The one thing about the British pair is they haven't been together for too long. They weren't, you know, Cookie and Foley weren't rowing at the Lucerne Regatta. I think Jurgen wanted to protect James Fogue because he'd had a back injury, back operation early in the season. So, you know, the more outings they have, the more races, the more experience. And, well, it's a tremendous sprint from them. If they get 7th, I mean, that would be an unbelievable result.
It looks like they're hoofing it through there, almost sacrificing a bit of technique for the strength and power through the water. What did you think?
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not pretty rhyme, but, you know, they are getting connected, and Fode's really determined. I think what you're seeing South Africans there is determination, absolute, to get that win, and they believe they can come through in this race, and that's a fantastic progression through the regatta for the British, who didn't really have a chance of making the final.
And the fight is on here. Like you say, funding hangs on these places, and everyone is fighting for that 7th position. We've seen the lead change now. The British have taken this. Fode, he's an Olympic bronze medalist from London, so he is a very, very good athlete, and they've absolutely put away the Serbians in the dying stages. But here come the South Africans. It looks like they're going to take the fading Serbians as well. Coming to the line.
Amazing sprint from the South Africans there. They're just nosing ahead of the Serbians. So that was a strong middle 1000 by the Serbians, but they didn't have enough for that burn at the end. And it almost goes to show the similar coaching style, as you were saying, Martin, of the Brits and the South Africans, because they had a lot of gas left in the tank for that final 500.
Yeah, I think the South Africans are going to be really pleased.